we're well today and we've had a lovely day. It's been a beautiful day with plenty of sunshine where I'm at. How did your day go? I'm just going to wait for a few more people to join and we get started right at 7 p.m. Thank you everyone who's joined. Good evening. Welcome to today's live. Today we're talking about why women's health matters and the power that there is in creating awareness and representation. Hello everyone. Good evening everyone who's joined. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining today. Before quickly we get into conversations, whilst I wait for my guests and to bring them on. I've seen one of them already. I'm waiting for the other one. But quickly today, I just wanted to share a word that I've been ruminating on and I've been thinking about. That means, it's from Psalms 119:105, and it says, "Your word is a lamp, like a lamp that shines as my guide. It shows me the right way to live." And another version, which is the Passion Translation, says, "Truth shining light guides me in my choices and decisions, and the revelation of your word makes my pathway clear." And I'm always saying, honestly, is the truth that you know, that you deploy, that you apply, that sets you free. So this evening, thank you everyone who's joined us. We are going to be talking about why women's health stories matter and the power in creating awareness and representation. Today I've got with me amazing people. I've got Zena Balogun. She's an actor, a producer, and celebrity advocate for women. And I've got with me Sarah Lane. She's a soft tissue therapist and lymphatic drainage specialist. Guys, you want to know what that is. It's a lifesaver. But let's get into it. I'm just going to bring to this FHF, the Feminine Health and Fibroid Support Network, and we're all about having conversations like this, honestly, to create education, awareness, and address biases, that women face, especially regarding feminine health issues, and our focus really is about educating and advocating for women, honestly. And today is a call out to say every of our story matters, honestly. And the more that we are able to share our stories, the more we're empowering each other and the more we're able to ensure that appropriate measures are put in place to help women. I'm going to bring my guests in and so we can just jump right into it. So good evening. Thank you everyone who's joined. I've just okay. Let's try again. I've accepted Zainab on and you as well, Sarah. Oh, there you are.
Hi.
How are you doing? How's your day been?
Good.
Hey
Good.
guys.
Hi.
Hi.
How are
How
we
are you?
doing?
Good, thank you. And you?
Nice. It was a nice sunny day today.
Yes. Beautiful sunny day.
Weather just keeps going in and out, but we'll take it.
I know. Whatever sunshine we can get, we take. We take. Amazing. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for joining me this evening, honestly. And we're talking about the power of awareness and representation, and why women's health stories matter. Thank you. I'll let you introduce yourself first. I've done a bit of it, but you could say better. So Zainab, you go first, and then Sarah, if that's all right.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Zaina Balogun, and I am an actress, filmmaker, and women's health advocate. My journey in women's health started as a result of my own story with endometriosis about 5 years ago. And so I essentially just started documenting my journey and the experience. and found myself speaking to a number of women who sit with the issue, and women who sometimes felt alone with their own personal journeys.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of snowballed from there to many different
Mm-hmm.
things, to us being a community and a space where we can learn, we can support each other, being the wellness wave.
Yeah,
So
amazing. Well done. Well done. Recently, you had your workshop and the masterclass. Amazing nuggets that
Yeah,
I took away
absolutely.
from there. I mean,
thank
yeah, Sarah was there as well, and it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
awesome.
I
Uh,
was.
and we need to keep doing that and inviting more people, honestly, and that's the only way that this can go around. And we can help women and empower each other to live a better life and be well.
yes.
Really. Thank
Definitely.
you. Thank you. If you say, Sarah, if you please introduce yourself.
So, hi everyone, I'm Sarah Lane. I'm a soft tissue therapist and a lymphatic drainage expert. But most of all, really, I am a fibroid survivor. You know, I think first and most of all,
Mm-hmm.
you know, without my story
Mm-hmm.
of surviving fibroids, to be quite honest, I wouldn't be doing what I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing. So just like many stories, I came into it through, for 18 years I had chronic pain. Every now and then I would go into hospital with pain, had no idea what it is. They would do tests, nothing. And I'll fast forward, you know, after 18 years going through doctors, seeing literally everybody, but nobody could work out what was wrong with
Mm-hmm.
me. And about 3 years ago, I trained as a personal trainer. From there, I wasn't getting better, nor was I helping women. So I decided to become a corrective exercise specialist. Still, I was getting better, but not better. Then I trained as biomechanics and also soft tissue and lymphatic drainage,
You went all
and
out.
that was a game changer. I started getting better, but still the symptoms would still come back.
Mm-hmm.
So my mentor said to me, I think that something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You really need to go and get it
Yeah.
checked out.
Yeah.
So I went and had an MRI
Don't get
scan on my
to all the
pelvis.
juicy bit yet. We're gonna get there. Let's just keep the juicy bit till later. But
Okay.
honestly, I only recently just found out about lymphatic drainage, and I experienced it for the first time last Friday. I came home, I got in traffic, and I came home and I'm like, this looks like a new body part. I don't think this body belongs to me. That's how amazing it
Thank
was. I was
you,
like,
girl.
something's happened to me. Usually, after I've driven for so long, I come out of the car, I'm needing to find my balance because my knees are hurting and all of that. And I'm thinking, well, anyway, that thing, I think it works. But let's get right into it, honestly. And this is what this is all about, having conversations like this. People try
Definitely.
different things variously, and every woman is unique in their stories. Your story is unique, Zaina. Your story is unique, Sarah. My story is unique, being a fibroid survivor as well. So everyone, but we can all learn from each other, and then what not to do so that everyone is getting informed, getting educated and aware, and then you don't have to suffer the same thing that the other woman suffered. Because if you
Absolutely.
leverage from her learning, you can just keep that and then go and have a better life, really, basically.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
my first question. So this is how it's going to be. I'm going to ask some questions and then
Okay.
hear your perspective on it. But before then, I'm just going to ask a few about. If I ask you the first question, Zainab, what inspired you to become a voice for women? I know you've shared a bit about your story, how you got into it, but what really inspired you? What got you to say, okay, I need to start to help other women
Yeah.
now? Because I know my story, why I started doing it. But what's yours?
So it all stemmed from, so I had debilitating pain from the first day I had a period, which was at the age of 12. And kind of pain that made it difficult for me to go to school, made it difficult for me to go to work. Pain before my period, after my period, during the period, I was basically not able to function very well for an entire. And so having that for about 19 years and then going in for emergency surgery because we ended up finding that I had a torsion cyst. When I started sharing my story, I remember getting lots of messages from women who felt like they had similar symptoms, or they felt seen by hearing my story. And the difficult part as well was mostly from the aspect of culture. So I'm Nigerian, and I had a number of women who were messaging me from secret accounts or secret email addresses, uh,
I
simply
hear you.
they didn't want family members to find out that they had issues, or their husband, or they were ashamed. I had women who were secretly going to other countries to have surgeries and not able
Wow.
to tell their family members.
Yep.
And in hearing that was when I started to realize that there's a bit of a problem here, because this is a serious issue. If you're having to leave the country to have surgery and not tell
Undercover. Mm-hmm.
God forbid something goes wrong, right? So I would say the biggest turning point, even after reading some of those stories, I just kept going. I was advised otherwise because of culture, as per we don't talk about these personal things. But I would say the defining moment was a story of a young woman, a 23-year-old young woman in Lagos, Nigeria, who was essentially the breadwinner of her family, who always had really difficult, painful periods, and they would prevent her from working. She was sent from pillar to post, go to this clinic, that clinic, and eventually go to a local herbalist. She ends up at a doctor, the community doctor, who tells her the best way to get rid of the pain is for her to essentially break her virginity and start having sex. He offers himself as a solution. She gets pregnant. And in that moment, that's her entire life and trajectory of her, her future, her family completely changed simply because of the misinformation. And it was from her story that we sort of birthed the short film project that
Right.
we're working on called Blood, and decided that we can't be afraid to share, because unfortunately there are people who are very comfortable sharing the wrong information. Yeah, I'd say that was the major turning.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Blood. Is it still showing? Where can people see that?
So we are still we're just about to get into pre-production. We've been fundraising for the project for some
Right.
time. And so we're still fundraising. It's when you have topics that are not very sexy, sometimes you have to get very
Funding.
creative with it.
I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
Funding can be.
But we're making it happen.
Amazing. Well done. Well done. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you. Thank you. Quickly, you are the lymphatic drainage specialist. Tell me how this helps chronic conditions. I have experienced it, but share briefly how this helps.
Oh, I mean, hugely. I think like lymphatic drainage is one of the missing link in life, full stop, because we don't hear about it. Nobody knows about it. Doctors don't talk about it, but yet this is the system in our bodies that helps us to get rid of wastage. But not only that, it helps us to transport hormones. It helps us to be able to detox. It's the number one system to help us to build our immune system plus the gut. So in terms of being in chronic pain, if our lymphatic drainage, the pipes, if we think about it as like a house with literally pipes, we have these pipes all over our body. When they are blocked up and the wastage is not going out, the wastage stays stagnant. Within that stagnation, then it causes bacteria. Not only that, it then sends off signals into our body, especially in the back area, where it tells the brain where something is wrong. So on top of being able to have that flight and fight, what we hear, we call it a sympathetic state. We want to be in the relax and digest. We need both, but what tends to happen when we're in chronic pain, because the messages are being sent from our back, these signals, something is wrong, that increases the pain. When the pain increases, we get tightness. When we get tightness, because the lymphatic drainage lays exactly on top as blood flow. Where there is
Wow.
no blood flow, There is no oxygen. When we think about dead cells and we think about cancer, we think about people that have arthritis. It's because of lack of blood flow. So being able to clear your lymphatic drainage is the number one ways to be able to heal our bodies naturally. We want to have an environment in our bodies where we can heal naturally. I'm not against traditional medicine. Absolutely. There's a place and a time for it. But I
Pharmaceutical
think,
ones, yeah.
yeah, when you have a multidisciplinary approach in your healing, you are guaranteed to have a better recovery, but not that. Also to have a life where you thrive, you know, where pain
Amazing.
no longer rules you, you know.
I know. Honestly, I am not kidding you. That's my first session. And after she finished, I said, "What did you do?" Because I was like, "Is this magic or something?" That's Nigerian accent. Like, is this the magic with this? I was like, "What? What did you do?" And then she started to explain the body anatomy to me and what's connected. And she was actually showing me. And I really, that simple, something that simple, but yeah, not that's not still not simple.
Yeah.
And like,
So it's interesting that we're so familiar with hearing about like lymphatic drainage from like a skincare perspective as a quick fix for, you know, depuffing your face. But who knew that there was such an intense, there's intense knowledge behind how this helps to relieve the body.
Absolutely.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think, like, from all of us who suffer from whatever the chronic pain is, the number one thing that we have in common is inflammation. And with that inflammation, if your lymphatic drainage is blocked and your blood flow is not flowing properly, there's absolutely no way you're going to get rid of that inflammation. Because if you know, the body cannot heal in the same environment that it got sick in. So we need to change the environment.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Honestly, I'm gonna have to bring you back one time where we go right into this. Today we're talking more about representation, you know, and how it is important to create awareness, you know, for women, for empowering women. My next question to you, Zainab, will be, you know, the role. I know I remember showing me even just breathing, the right breathing technique can make a lot of difference, you know. So I was going to ask, so what role does representation play in women receiving proper medical care, Zainab? I mean, in your opinion?
Oh, I think it plays a huge role. And we're able to see ourselves in the practitioners that we go to. There's also a sense of comfort, understanding. And I know that, you know, as brown, yellow colored women, even our own experiences at times can be very different within the health space when it comes to our pain and the way that is understood, treated, respected. And then, you know, how we're sort of handled in terms of
Yeah.
solutions. I think it's very important that we have women in every aspect. As you said, like healing is a 360 thing. It's not, don't believe that, you know, everything just happens in one place or through pharmaceuticals, or I think there's benefit considering holistic options and, you know, spiritual options if, you know, prayer and all of that is something that you strongly believe in. So there's a place for being seen by someone who
Being seen.
from that perspective.
Amazing. Thank you so much. By the way, if you've got any questions for Zainab or Sarah, please put it in the chat. And if you've had medical gaslighting, please put me in the chat. If you've had to fight for your diagnosis, please put me in the chat, because honestly, that was my story, you know. But today's not about me. It's just about helping women, you know, with some of your learnings and your knowledge, both of you, to be able to create that empowering atmosphere for women to know that, you know, they can advocate for themselves basically and get knowledge and be informed. So Sarah, to you, I know, so in your opinion, what does cultural background, how does it play in the experience of women? I know you're not from where I'm from Nigeria as well, and from your own experience and perspective, how does that how has that cultural background, how has it played into the
Oh my
experience of
goodness.
women and the health
It's
issues?
huge. Yeah, it's huge because so I come from Uganda, although I was brought up here. But you leave Uganda, but Uganda lives in you. And we're told that the doctors know everything, and you should not question the
Mm-hmm.
doctors, and whatever the doctor says, that must be the right thing. So when you dare challenge what the doctors say, it's like you're kind of looked down on. And learning as women to be able to be assertive, to be able to stand up for our own
Yeah.
rights, but at the same time respecting the doctors. Yes, they know what they know, but
Mm-hmm.
there's nobody that knows your body
Like you.
like you.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you know your body. And from a cultural background, so coming from Uganda, women are supposed to be quiet. You don't answer back. You do as you're told, keep your head down. I'm the completely opposite. So completely. So that's really helped me. And one of the things, working with my clients and empowering them, especially the older they are, they're like, but no, I can't challenge my doctor, because if my doctor says this, it must be the right thing. So I said to them, okay, let's go with what your doctor said, but still have another opinion. Because the more opinions you have, the better informed you
Mm-hmm.
are in making a choice that is right for you.
For you.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, culture is huge.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And that makes me think about the information. And I know that it is important to be informed, to be educated, but also I wanted to bring in, because there wrong information out there. There is a lot of wrong information. Is finding the right one is really key. So Zainab, if I come to you, what role do we think social media is playing or has played in the struggles of women's health and all the misinformation out there? How can women be guided?
Yeah, social media has its perks and then there's the disadvantages. I mean, I think a lot of people have been able to get answers to certain conditions
Mm-hmm.
because of social media, because there are people like us here who continue to speak and point people to
Mm-hmm.
resources. Breath, there are also people who have either been
Yeah.
misinformed or allowed a certain clouding of their own personal experience to share information that's not 100% correct.
That's
So
right.
I think when it comes to social media, there is a lot of due diligence that one has to do. And with
Mm-hmm.
health being so important, like you can't just take anything you read or hear as gospel and fact. It is very important that you go and fact check. I mean, it's why doctors will tell you don't come into your appointment having gone through Google to ask Google, what
Google can scare you.
or ChatGPT to diagnose you, right? So, and it's the same sort of approach that we need to take is going to the professionals, and seeking them out. I mean, it's okay to have certain assumptions and say,
Mm-hmm.
I have these symptoms and I think it might be this, or I think it might be leading to XYZ. But do your due diligence and fact check.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It's really important to do your due diligence, honestly. And it's also because every woman's different in the combination of issues, and what is causing what. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's important to do your due diligence and work with a professional to help you, to guide you, to work with you, on this journey is really key. And also community, I cannot overemphasize community where these things are being talked about.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Sarah, if I come to you quickly, uh, huh. So what do you think individuals and organizations can do to help amplify women's health stories to create real impact? How can that happen? What in your thought, in your mind, or something that you've had to think through? How can that happen to help women and amplify the voices of women?
I think first of all, it starts with oneself. It starts with oneself having first the confidence and really owning our stories and not looking at them as being shameful, because they're not shameful. This is part of what we've been through. And when we own our stories and we can talk about it without shame, it brings power, it brings confidence. But not only that, we're able to be assertive rather than feeling, oh no, I shouldn't talk about this. From the point of view of other organizations, I think, as you said, community, being able to have different communities and listening to stories. Because I remember when I was going through it, I wish that I had found you while I was going through it, because I was so alone. And
hear you.
I was just doing random research on the internet. So if I had been in a community like this, I would have been so much empowered, and not to feel, there was a sense of sadness within me, feeling like, why is it just me? But actually, after research, it was like, without, my percentages may not be correct, but like 80% of Black women have fibroids. I'm like,
Up to
hold on.
70, up to 70, yeah, will
Yeah.
have by the time they are 55.
And I'm thinking to myself, why didn't I know this? But then that goes back to ownership for ourselves, also as individuals, taking ownership of our bodies and knowing information. So I think that organizations being able to, whether it's displaying this information in terms of social media, holding things like this on a regular basis where everybody knows that these kind of lives take place, we are more informed, because then it becomes the norm, the culture of the way we do things. As a mother raising my daughter, this is something that now I'm talking about. It's huge for us as mothers, for our girls to grow up to know that this is, should I check for it? At what age do I check for it? So that I make sure that she's better informed and given the right support and advice. So I think that organizations play a big role with displaying information in different ways.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Is there any addition that you wanted to add to that question, Zainab?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head with that.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. And it's all of this that is important, why women need to talk about these things. And I know when we met Sarah, we met through a gynecologist, and for me the truth is, it was what I didn't have, and I had mental breakdown, because I thought, how can I be the only one who has this kind of issues, bleeding for 2 years, nobody, and because also of cultural bias, I wasn't speaking to anybody on that. Nobody needs to know that this kind of thing is happening to me. But the first day that I opened up, I thought, you know what, it's okay. I mean, I didn't die, I'm still here. And about 6-7 people in church came around like, oh, I have that thing too. Oh, I'm like, really? And we're all here. And I almost died when mental, because I was trying to find someone to just speak to say, how is this doing you? But honestly, thank you for that. And it's important that we share our stories. And there's no stigma to this thing. It's okay to talk about it, and that's what we must continue to emphasize, and let women know that it's okay. And like Zainab was saying, you don't have to go to another country and be undercover agent just because you're trying to deal with your family health issues and no family members. I mean, your family should be the first people who are there to support you, to carry you through this journey, so yeah.
But thank you for providing platforms like this, because without you being brave enough to be able to provide these kind of platforms,
thank you,
we wouldn't be here right now. So thank you.
Thank you. I also have a young daughter, and I thought shouldn't have to go through the things I've been through.
Yeah.
So educating early and saying, okay, these are the things to watch out for. Know your body, know yourself, no, I mean, I didn't get all of that. So being able to do that now, and even now going into schools, you know, to find ways to put this in as part of the curriculum. Girls need to know these things early. Even boys need to be informed. They need to know how to support their sisters, their aunties, girlfriend, whoever, you know, at this junction. Is the education of everybody joining hands together to be able to do this, you know, and to help women, empower women. Thank you, ladies. This is amazing. I will have we still have a bit of time, so let's carry on. Let's see if there's anything in here that anyone has asked. Please put your question in. Can you explain the cause of consistent bloating, which led to me having to eat small amount of food per time? Someone's asking, and I think that will be for you, Sarah. Did you want to take that quickly?
Can you have a question again?
So, Rolly Hart is saying, can you explain the cause of consistent bloating, which led to me having to eat small amount of food per time?
Oh, I think that's quite a wide. There isn't one thing in regards to bloating, because bloating can be a symptoms of many things. It could be if you're eating something and you're allergic to it, that can show up as your stomach being bloated. In terms of lymphatic drainage and the gut, how that would relate, if your body is not able to digest what you're eating to actually flush it out, then it stays in, and when it stays in, that can turn into bloatedness. So I think, I'm sorry that I can't give you a straightforward answer, but there are many things that can cause bloating. But what would be helpful is, I guess, things that look at when you're eating, what kind of things are you eating, then you notice bloatedness, because that could be a sign that whatever you ate in that day could be the thing that's making you bloated. And what time of the day are you bloated? So all this information is important.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for highlighting that. And honestly, someone just posted something that got me cracking. I'm really sorry, I was laughing, but I want to read it out. First lady says, are you watching me? I was just googling my pain symptoms, and Google got me to go and write my will.
What?
So I think she posted this earlier on while we were talking about, you know, doing your due diligence and all of that, and don't depend on Google alone. You know, I read that and I was laughing, like, you know, but I mean, that's absolutely true, because don't depend on Google alone. And, you know, another thing that I wanted to raise around representation and also advocacy is, you know, it is all right to find someone to go with you to your appointment. Honestly, it is okay to if you don't know all of the facts or you need help, you just need hand holding. Even you don't even, doesn't even have to be that the person knows why what you're going through or fully understands it, but the fact that someone is there, you know, is comforting. That someone is there is reassuring. And then sometimes what you don't remember, they can kind of prompt you to say, oh, you know. And another thing that I would say is journaling. Journaling is amazing. Get a journal. Honestly, write those things down. It is very life-changing how it can make a lot of difference when you're in front of your physician, and then you can say this are all of the symptoms. How can you help me? Amazing. Thank you, ladies. Also, I know Zainab, you wanted to leave early. I do absolutely understand, but if you wanted to go now, what one message would you want to leave with women, you know, around awareness, advocacy, and representation?
Oh gosh. I know we're on the topic of sharing stories, and I also sympathize that it can be very hard for women to feel comfortable to share stories. I'm grateful that there's so many of us that are able to stand in those places. I just want to encourage anyone who's experiencing something or going through something to find at least one particular outlet. It doesn't mean you need to come out and, discuss your personal life publicly. Be with someone who is close to you or a healthcare professional. But the worst thing you can do is hide and keep quiet
That's right.
about going through. There's a lot of healing that comes with community. And that's one thing I definitely want to encourage everyone to do. And the second thing would be to, support where you can. For those who maybe you're not going through anything, if you are somebody's partner, somebody's son, a teacher, find ways to help amplify these type of conversations. Find ways to help support them and bring them spaces, whether into your work environment, or your schools. Just be the microphone that we to get this message out. That'd be my lasting message.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's interesting you talked about community, because honestly, so we have a community, I don't know, about 125 women or more, and men who love who love them. But every year, I'm not even going to say that this running education and trying to advocate for women is not challenging. But every time I'm thinking, oh God, am I supposed to be doing this still? This is tiring. This is what people are not engaging as much as I expect and whatnot. But every time someone just shares a testimonial, or the kind of education I'm getting here, I've been waiting. I've not had a child for 7, 8 years, but now I'm pregnant because of education. Because I'm like, okay, that for me is like, okay, God, at least lives have been impacted. Somebody is being impacted. Someone's life is being transformed. And that drives me, helps me to keep going, to say, okay, either I see it or not, things are happening. And community is really key. It's really, really important. It's something that I didn't have. I looked everywhere for it when I was going through. My gynecologist, oh bless her, I was like, there has to be somebody, there has to be a group of people talking about this thing. I found someone online, or some group online. You'll ask the question, it takes like 5-6 days before they come back. I was miserable. I was gonna have hysterectomy. I didn't know anyone. Nigerian girl like me, didn't know anyone who's had hysterectomy. Everybody, a few people I can find out and said, don't even take it out to you have to go and meet your maker the way you came. I was like, do you not understand that I'm losing life? I'm going to die if I don't. I'm in between here and there. If I don't make this decision in the next few days, and all of that, and you're telling me I shouldn't part with uterus, and all of that. But honestly, having a community, people who you feel safe is important also, because sometimes people in communities where people don't feel safe, they can't talk. But even in that community, there must be 1-2 people who you can align with, and though maybe if you don't want to put it in a whole group of 120, 50 people, connect with someone behind the scene, and sometimes that's what I do, help women behind the scene, and then just talk them through their journey, help connect samples and all of those kind of things, to just keep this going on and helping women, because women are suffering, and sometimes it's needless. It is absolutely needless. Thank you, ladies. I am grateful that you've joined me today. But whilst we're still here, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I will have to step out, but we'll
absolutely know.
we'll
That's
definitely
fine.
do more of this.
We should.
Nice
Definitely.
to see you again, Zainab.
See you, Sarah, and yes, I will be getting in touch for a little take.
The fasting really miracle. Yeah.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
All right.
Take
Thank
care.
you, Zainab.
Feel better soon.
All right. Get well.
Bye.
See you soon. Sarah, let's carry on. So honestly, thank you. Okay, I'll have a few more questions.
Sure.
Also, and then we can try and wrap up. Okay, we still have a bit of time. Another thing that I wanted to highlight on is, how can men and allies, because not every woman is going through feminine health issues. So how can allies and men and allies, contribute to supporting women, especially around advocacy?
Yeah. I think understanding. again, research and understanding what it is that your partner or friend is going through. You know, and you know, sometimes when it comes to support, you don't have to know what to say, but just calling somebody and saying, you know what, hey, I'm here if you need me. You know, hanging out and just being in their presence without doing nothing, that person feeling like, you know what, there is one person that I can go to, even if to just go to their house and chill. You know, because sometimes all you need is a different environment.
True,
Yeah.
true, true, true.
You know, that makes a big difference. But in terms of if you have a partner or a husband, I think that as you yourself get informed, is having the courage to speak up. You know, because one thing that, I mean, I've learned so many things, but one thing that I've learned is not to soldier on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
there's no, who says that? Somebody I know says there's no prize given. There's no award to the one who can hold the pain the most.
Yeah. You know, as a mom and a wife, I'm so used to when I wasn't well, okay, yeah, I'm going to get up in the morning, then I would do this and I would do that. By the end of the day, I could barely stand and I was exhausted. But I had to learn to get courage and say, today, I'm not able to cook. Today, you're going to have to cook. You know, there were days, especially closer to my operation, where I could barely get out of bed. You know,
I hear you.
And also, we also have to talk about the impact that chronic pain has on relationships.
Oh,
Because
yes.
I don't really hear people speaking about it. It's huge.
It
You
is
know, it takes
massive,
yeah.
massive, honestly.
You know,
It is. Thank you for that, honestly. And yes, men and allies, you know, to in helping women in their journey is really important and critical. I remember that even for me, some of the things I found around help. I mean, one of the issues that triggered my continuous bleeding was drinking soy milk, because I'm a heavy coffee drinker, so I will have it 2-3 times a day, and I didn't realize that was what triggered the fibers, and they were getting bigger, and I just couldn't stop bleeding. But my husband was the one who found this conversation, because I was looking for everything and any help I can get, you know, and I stumbled into someone in America called Coach Jessie, and I started following her and all of that, and then my husband said, "Oh, did you hear that they had a conversation around soy milk and soy products?" I'm like, really? And that's how I discovered, you know. So having those kind of support, someone who's also, when you're looking, there holding your hand, or if they're also good at it, they're looking for stuff for you, trying to help you figure this journey out, it's key. And honestly, we call on the men and the allies, because sometimes the woman might not have feminine health issues, but you might have a sister, you might have a friend, you know. Even the education, that the knowledge you get is going to be, it won't be wasted. It will be helping another woman, you know, live a better life. And that's really
absolutely,
and that's really key, you know, in representation and advocacy, you know?
No, absolutely.
So Sarah, tell us a bit more, not just me, tell us a bit more about how I know you shared a little bit earlier on about how lymphatic drainage works. Tell us just a bit more, a tad more, just to whet appetite, honestly, because I'm looking forward to my next session tomorrow.
So there are different types of how people do lymphatic. However, for me, how I do it, I work in a wheel system. I try and make sure that your body, I prepare your body. So we have a system from 1 to 7.
That was what I was going to say. So why does your body care? Why is that essential, actually?
Oh my goodness, that's huge. Body care is huge because first of all, we have to go back to awareness. You know, if you care about your body, you're going to have an awareness about how you feel, because when you are aware, when changes take place, you're able to recognize that something is different.
It's wrong.
Yeah, is wrong within you. But if you don't have that kind of awareness, when things change, it's like, I don't know, doctors ask, so when did you start to notice? You're like, actually, I don't know. So I think as women, we have to put self-care on top of the list of every single thing that we do. And it can be as practical as starting from every day, I am going to set 20 minutes for myself. Within that 20 minutes, you can decide on what you want to do. Are you going to read a book? Are you going to go for a walk? Are you going to journal? Get involved in an activity. All of these things are part of self-care, because it takes away the attention of work, mothering, being a wife. But it's about focusing on oneself and actually finding out what makes me happy. What do I like doing? Yeah. And that's why self-care is so important, and taking care of our bodies. And also from the point of view of investment. We as women, we spend money on bags, we spend money on makeup, we spend money on shoes. But if you ask some women, right, you need to have a treatment that's going to cost you, as an example, this is just a figure out of my head, £65. They're like, I haven't got that. But you're going to go and spend and buy a lipstick and an eyeliner that would be equivalent to £65.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the way we prioritize ourselves.
Absolutely, priorities. And I like that you talked about awareness, because honestly, the first step of all of these things is being aware. And if you don't know your body, you cannot be aware when something is off or something, because the body is always telling, is always speaking to us. But you must know you're normal. Then when it's off, then you can say, okay, something's not right, something's off, and then you start to look. But if you don't know you're normal, if your bleeding, for instance, is how heavy, if you don't know what's abnormal, you can't begin to call it out or to say, okay, I need to go and see someone because this is abnormal. So definitely awareness is really key, and also prioritizing ourselves, prioritizing our health, because as women, we're super women. We can do everything, multitask, and do this and do that. But sometimes, you just want to slow down and take a bit of time for yourself. And since I started practicing this breathing thing, is amazing. Sometimes you just stop in the middle of everything and just do your breathing, like just breathe. Breathe. Doing that consistently is amazing. It's amazing, honestly.
I think as women, we're very good at getting things done. But my question is, at what cost? Who is paying the price of whatever it is that we're achieving? Our bodies are. And I'm now, I'm into menopause, and my I know, right?
Don't even go to menopause today, because we're not going to live this life. We will get to menopause another day. Another day for menopause. I've seen menopause.
So prioritizing and just making sure that I take a minute and I stop, rather than going through and just soldier through it. I actually am aware when my body starts speaking to me that you need to sit down. Yes, I know you need to finish that, but you need to sit down. You need to stop. So on my practical things that we can do. So I set a timer on my phone at least every 2 hours, and it says self-check-in.
Wow.
So a timer comes on my phone, it says self-check-in. Okay. When I see it, I'm like, okay, how does my body feel? I stop, literally feel what is going on. What do I smell? What do I see? Am I holding my breath as I'm going through the day?
And sometimes that's what happens, because we're not breathing well, because we're under pressure, we're trying to finish a task, we're just putting so much pressure on, and then you're not breathing properly.
That's it. So sometimes practical things are really helpful.
Amazing. Thank you for that. And I mean, it resonates with me, because sometimes I'm doing a lot of things, and I'm like, "Ah, I just want to get done. I want to get finished. I'm just not stopping. And by the time you know it, you are so stressed and
Mhm.
like, what happened to me? And then when you finally finish it without stopping, and they see that there's some kind of weight over you, like, why am I so tired? But all of the pressure, all of the pressure of trying to complete a task or all of that. But now I'm stepping back and taking a break. And I like your idea of set a
Yeah.
timer. I mean, the time that I've done that before was the pelvic floor exercise one time. You were so bad. I had to set a timer. Like, I must do this exercise every day, but I'm too young for this nonsense, you know? Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if you have to put a timer on your clock, man, and do a check-in time,
Yeah,
self-check-in time. Absolutely.
absolutely. And one way to know whether you are not good at it, if you're resisting to do it.
Mm,
If you're resisting to do it, you need it more than anybody else.
mm.
Because then you got to ask yourself, why am I resisting just stopping and having a check-in? Why?
Yeah, well, you can say that time. Oh, I need to finish this time. I have a deadline to submit whatever presentation or whatever work I'm doing.
I go back to saying, at what cost?
Mm, thank
There's
you.
always a price to pay for everything.
Mm,
There's always
hear
a
you.
price to pay.
Oh.
I mean, so it's okay to have a deadline if you know, like, as an example, you're like, this week I'm so busy. I'm just going to be go, 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 go. But that's temporary. But if this is the
Way
way of
of
living,
life. I hear you.
that's not a good thing.
Mm,
It's
yeah,
not.
yeah. So we need honestly, as women, we need to prioritize ourselves. We need to check in. If you have to do a clock reminder thing, do it honestly, because your health is your wealth. And if you don't look after yourself, everything else that you're running around to look after, if you break down, it's not going to be looked after. So you
Yeah,
as well just,
that's
look after
it.
you so that you can look after all those things.
And also, if you have children, we're
Mm.
also setting examples for our children,
Mm-hmm.
how our girls should be when they become women.
Mm.
If you have a son, we're also teaching our sons when they get with their partners that they respect when their partner says, hey, I need some time out, can you take over? But if we don't
Mm.
model and show these things, if we are on the go constantly, our children pick it up because I hear comments like, yeah, my mom always is always on the go. My mom is always, she's able to achieve this and achieve that. So the child
Mm.
picks it up thinking
That's
it's a good
the
thing,
norm.
right?
Amazing. Thank you for that. Honestly, and to reiterate that is to emphasize that some more. Honestly, it's about self-awareness and regular audit and evaluation. How are you
Yeah,
doing? Check in with yourself. Find out how you are doing. You know,
yeah, yeah,
where are you right now on your journey? Are you well? What do you think? What's your self perception, especially of you? What's holding you back? What's your strength? What's your weakness? Sorry. I'm always saying play to your strength. Your weakness is your weakness. Well, please
yeah,
play to your strength and find a safe space. A community and a safe space where you can download. Find your
absolutely.
tribe.
Yeah,
Push away negativity, push away toxicity, and just find a safe space where, you can be nurtured and your well-being can be prioritized. It's really, really important. It's really, really important. Thank you so much. This is so amazing. But I'm going to bring you back. We're going to go deeper into how this soft tissue therapy
therapy.
and lymphatic drainage works. Anyway, maybe by the time I've brought you back, I will have had more sessions, a lot more sessions. I can tell you how my life is. By the way, I don't know if it's one of the I'm not saying side effects because it's a good side effect as far as I'm concerned, is I wasn't feeling very hungry. I don't know if it has anything to do with it. I was like, after 2 days, I'm like, I haven't eaten much today, and I wasn't feeling hungry. It wasn't as if I was hungry and I wasn't eating. I just found out I wasn't feeling hungry. I'm like, okay, this can help me lose weight as well. Let's do this.
Well, because you've got to link it back. It goes back to the nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
When we're in flight and fight,
Mm-hmm.
what do we normally do? Because we are uncomfortable with how we feel,
Mm-hmm.
we eat as a form of a coping mechanism.
Mm.
But when you're relaxed,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna get things to be able to cope. So, looking at when the nervous system is in fight and flight, let's think about ourselves, is that if we're in a situation where we feel lost, let's think about if you're going somewhere and you don't know where you're going, and you're like, I need to get there on time. You just feel so frustrated. You're like, I need to get there, and stressed. It's the same thing when we're in that flight and fight.
Right.
The body is constantly on alert. But when we're in that relaxed state, it means we're going back to that awareness. We are more aware. It brings us, because sometimes when we're in that flight and fight, you can actually, next time anybody's eating, try this out. Eat something, and actually, when you finish eating, ask yourself, did I actually taste what that food tasted like?
Right.
How many times did I chew it? And what you realize, we just grab food, put it in our mouth, we just eat, and it's like, yeah, it's finished. But when you think about when you go out and you're with a gang of friends that you like, what do? You take longer to finish your food. You don't rush your food. You take your time. You're enjoying yourself. You actually taste the food. And that's all part of being in a nervous system when you are in that nice, relaxed, and digestive state.
Amazing. Awesome. We have a few minutes to go. What will be the last word, well, not the last word, one message you want to leave with women, today, about the power of their stories and navigating their health journey?
Wow. I think what I would say the takeaway could be is actually sitting down with yourself and have a piece of paper and have 2 columns on it and write where you are and on the other column where you want to be. Because
amazing.
unless because it's easy to think about stuff where we want to be, what we want to do, how we want to improve our health. But when we start to write it down, there is power in writing things down.
I hear you.
As we write it, share it with a friend. Because when
accountability.
Absolutely. When there's accountability, you're more likely to achieve it than, they say a dream is just a dream if you just think about it. The minute you write it down and you start doing it, it's no longer a dream. It becomes reality.
Reality, that's right.
So in terms of our health, is being able to being brave and being bold and setting those goals of where we want to be. And then can work backwards and say, so for example, if the goal is, I want to learn how to walk without pain. So that's the end goal. Then we work backwards. So it's that now you have to go and say, what's preventing me from walking? Is it because I don't have time, or is it because it hurts? If the solution is that because it hurts, then you're like, okay, who do I need to go to help me to solve this problem in order to make my reality come true? And then you put it into action.
Amazing. The truth and you've actioned or deployed is what makes you free. I always say that.
How you started the session today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. My takeaways today is honestly, to women is your story matters, honestly. So many women's health concerns are being dismissed, but push back if you have to. But by sharing your stories, please, we're raising awareness. We're challenging stigma and we're pushing back, on things that are not right, but have been normalized. So please, every story matters. Your story is different from my story. Sharing your story will help someone else. Mine will help someone else. Sarah's will help someone else. Share your story. And representation can save a life. You don't know, whose life you're saving, by overcoming the biases and just sharing and lending your voice, to help women. And also, self-advocacy is very crucial. If you have to push back, push back.
Yeah.
If you need help, if you want, these are some of the things the service that we provide, as a group, as a community. Get help. Let someone go with you. Track your health. Learn to support, to lean on communities. Find someone who you can trust, and you can walk the journey with you, even on this wellness journey. And thank you so much today for your time. And I know you're coming back anyway, so we are going to be talking more.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. It's been awesome, and thank you for all that you're doing. Because some of your clients that you've had to share some of the things with me. I'm like, okay, amazing things are happening, and the important thing is if everyone in their corner, in their pocket, is doing their bit, you're using your skill. Your story is what's driving you to do what you're doing, and everyone is doing their bit.
Yeah.
Honestly, before we know it, lives have been turned around. Women, there's less and less women who are suffering and who are dying, needlessly.
We're going
from feminine
to take over.
From feminine health issues. Thank you so much. I look forward to bringing you back again. And thank you everyone who's attended today. If this has been useful, insightful, share this with a friend who you think will need to hear it. Use your voice, please, and support in fighting for better healthcare for women. Honestly, let's do this. And this is not the end of this conversation. We will have more. I'm interested in talking about menopause. Maybe another few weeks. We're gonna talk about menopause, but honestly, let's use our voice. Let's help one another, empower each other.
Thank you.
And,
thank you for all the wonderful, amazing work you're doing.
Thank you. Let's create awareness, and put out the information. Share your story. Amazing. Thank you, everyone who's joined today. Thank you. Every woman's story matters. Let's share it. There's power in representation and creating the awareness. Good night, everyone who's come today. I hope this has been helpful. Maureen, I'm perimenopause. Okay. Yeah, so I see people are interested in menopause things and perimenopause. Every story matters. That's right. Life with Abeke, I eat less when I'm out with friends. Yeah, somebody's saying, thank you everyone. And if you have questions, send us DM if you want to reach out to any of the ladies who spoken tonight. What's your handle? I wanted to pin that, but I was so carried away with my talk. So I was going to pin both of your handles there. Reach out to his whole woman. What's your handle again? Instagram handle?
Whole woman _ whole _ woman. So let me type it into the chat.
Please do that. Yeah. And yeah. Share, like, comment, let's keep pushing for change. Let's keep doing this together. And every woman can be helped if we keep helping one another and empowering each other. Thank you, everyone. I hope it's been useful and insightful. God bless you. Have a lovely night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Sarah. Thank you for your time. God bless.
Good night. Bye.